The title of her talk is Use of Transcription and Transliteration in Mythology, a study of Amish Tripathi's Shiva trilogy.
Thank you so much, ma'am. A very good evening to all the esteemed dignitaries, and I feel extremely privileged to be sharing this stage with such illustrious speakers. So I'm already very conscious. I'll be sharing my screen. Just a second. Ma'am, is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So the topic that I've chosen is Use of Transcription and Transliteration in Mythology, a study of Amish Tripathi's Shiva trilogy. Let us first just understand in brief what transcription and transliteration actually is. So as we know, transliteration is a conversion of a text from one script to another, which involves swapping letters. It is not generally concerned with the representation of the sounds of the original text. So we can understand that it mostly focuses on the written work as opposed to what transcription does. Transcription is the systematic representation of the spoken language in written forms. So when we use transcription, we are actually trying to decipher whatever we are speaking in a systematic representation of the spoken language. And we also know that for both transcription and transliteration, we have an entire different set of brackets which we use to actually symbolize them while writing. We know that angle brackets are used to set off transliteration as opposed to slashes, which are used for phonemic transcription, and square brackets for phonetic transcription. I quote, "Transliteration deals with converting written characters into a different script. Transcription is about reproducing spoken words in writing." Now, after understanding in brief what transcription and transliteration actually is, let's straight away move to the text that I have chosen. The work is Shiva trilogy, which is written by Amish Tripathi. Now, why are we still talking about mythology in the present times? Amish Tripathi has actually revolutionized this entire work of mythology. There are three works in this Shiva trilogy, that is The Immortals of Meluha, The Secret of the Nagas, and The Oath of the Vayuputras. Now, in all these three texts, he has tried to connect the dots and present Lord Shiva. We know that in Hindu mythology, we have the god Shiva, and right from childhood, we have been told to just revere or pray to these gods without actually being given any logical explanation behind it. Now, it was Amish Tripathi who, in order to cater to the modern day audience, he has taken gods and goddesses but given a very human touch to it. He has given a modern twist to the tale. So, in this work, what he does is he presents Shiva as a human character and that lifts him up to the stature of a god. Now, why am I talking about god and goddesses in this particular work of transcription and transliteration? The reason being, mythology is something which has been handed down to us through generations, and mythological tales mostly in the earlier times were spoken words. Those were in the oral form, and now when we have been given these stories through generations by the use of transcription, transliteration, they have reached the present form that they are in. So if we look at the story that is there, we see that he has inculcated characters of these major mythological gods and goddesses and introduced events where Sati meets Shiva, they fall in love. The trilogy also concerns with the plot where Shiva, who is here considered as Neelkant, and how the Suryavanshi king Daksh asked for his help to defeat evil, which was the Chandravanshis for him. And the story highlights his quest to find evil and free the world of Somras. Now let's understand how he has presented transcription or transliteration. Obviously, he has not gone in detail about transcription or transliteration, but without both these things, this work would not have been possible. Now, why am I saying this? Because he has the names itself, Shiva, Sati, Kartikeya, Ganesh. He has not changed these words. These proper names have been given as it is in our mythological tales. And we know our mythology was not written in English. So, through a different script, he has taken those words up. He has created such beautiful narratives around those words, those proper names. In this modern day rendition, we find that he has also given it a mix of English and Hindi. The reason is so that the essence of the mythology also is not lost, and the modern day readers can understand this. So he has made use of transcription and transliteration in the process. Now, if we look at a few examples, the one that I told already was the use of proper nouns that he has done. Apart from this, he has also used the sacred sound Om. He has converted the sacred sound Om into a material value. He has actually created a strong plot line around just this word Om. If we look at the text, you find that he has given the pictorial representation of Om also. He has shown how there were different ways of writing Om, and it was because of this particular Om that there were different characters, like he has presented Nagas as one particular group of people, and how in the story it has been presented that the Nagas were not considered to be of the same stature as humans. And so there was this distinction, and people used to think that the Nagas are evil. Why were they evil? Just because there was a different way of Om that was written with the sign of a serpent. Later on we understand that no, Nagas are not really bad creatures, they are actually people with deformed identities. And so just because of this creation of the word Om, he has so beautifully connected the dots, and he has created those aspects in the work which are related to our god Shiva. We know Om is connected to him. Then we also know that serpent is one symbol which is connected to him, because we know that he has that in his neck. Then he has created characters like Ganesha, Kartikeya or Kali. And how Ganesh, we know in our mythology, Lord Ganesha does not have a proper human face. He has the face of an elephant. Now logically he explains why he has the face of an elephant, because he was a Naga, and it was he actually used to wear a bracelet on his hand which had that serpent symbol of Om. So these are very small minute details where you find that this use of transcription or transliteration actually helped him in writing Shiva trilogy. Now coming to the conclusion, Tripathi himself had commented that Hindi is my dil ki bhasha. Now when he himself has told this, so he has taken inherently Hindi words while writing in English to connect with the masses, which is what makes his work the part of a popular fiction, and also to hold on to the mythological tale. Now there is one phrase which he has used often in the text, that is Har Har Mahadev. This one phrase in Hindi is often repeated by the devotees of Lord Shiva. Instead of translating it crudely, what he does is he writes it as Har Har Mahadev, then gives a very logical explanation to us. And me as a reader, without actually going too much into mythology or Hinduism, I really could understand this word or the phrase so clearly just by looking at his explanation. Har Har Mahadev, Har Ek Mein Mahadev. So instead of just trying to translate it into a form which in a way just misguides us, or the essence or the meaning gets lost, he uses the word as it is and then gives an explanation to it. So these are the few things that makes me feel that without transliteration or transcription, these works of mythology cannot be actually written. And in the present day, in popular fiction, we see that there is an immense rise in such mythological tales being written, and it is because of such writers that we are actually being able to read about the mythological texts and understand them in the present context. Okay, thank you so much.
माइक कर लीजिएगा.
Thank you so much, Ayushi. Why you were scared, I don't know. It was such an interesting and very informative presentation. We really enjoyed your presentation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, Professor Arunim